Okay. I'm not sure if this is live right now because I'm using Facebook's new studio broadcasting. So we'll see when this actually starts. But yeah, another great day. Um, really, I mean, every day really is phenomenal because it's always here and now. And we always have a unique opportunity to enjoy the moment and to be present. And if we really think about it, like, there is no past, there is no future, right? We collectively agree that there's a past, but is that really true? I mean, we look at photos and hey Joel, how's it going? And we think it's the past, but it's not really the past. I mean, we're looking at the photo in the present. So we're just really recreating that memory in the present moment. So it's not really a past memory, it's a present memory. And then we create the illusion that it's projected out in the past, but it's really not. It's really in the present. And then same for the future. We think about the future, and we think about all the things upcoming, and we live them in our mind, in our images. We create an image around what is happening, and then we live it out as though it's happening now. And that's where doubt and fear and worry come from. And are certain like dates going to happen and things happen on certain dates? Like yeah, of course, right? Because that's the nature of how we choose to live our lives. But the I'm talking about kind of the negative side of things right now, like the anxiety, the worry, the doubt, the fear, the guilt, the hesitation, all these things about anticipating what's going to happen. And that's just the ego mind running into fear mode, thinking like, it's going to die, and if I don't follow the rules, I'm going to die, or if I don't do things a certain way, I'm going to die, or if I'm not perfect, I'm going to die. That's how the ego functions, right? You gotta always keep that in mind with your human nature, is that the ego purely functions on anxiety and survival and fear of the future. That's how it thinks it lives. But that's only because we give it power to have that level of control in our lives. If we just be like, wait a sec, slow down here, Mr. Ego, and or Mrs. Ego or Miss Ego, not that it's gender specific at all, and we get a glimpse into peace. We get a glimpse into tranquility. We get a glimpse into having a quiet mind. And as it says in A Course in Miracles, a tranquil mind is not a little gift. A tranquil mind is not a little gift. And think about that. Think about if you had full control over your mind, and you had full control knowing that you're the boss, you're in charge of your mind, of your life, you're the director of your life. And so whatever thoughts crossed your mind, you would immediately identify that those are just images that you're creating. You would immediately identify that they're not real. And you would immediately identify that they can, if they're causing you any form of angst or negativity, or causing you to even think, and I'll get to that in a second, that you could release them and let them go. That would be your power. That would be your ultimate power, to choose to decide to be free. And Lester said that every thought is a disturbance. My mentor, Lester Levinson, he said every thought is a disturbance. And think about what that means, because we can sometimes judge our thoughts, like some thoughts are good, some thoughts are bad. And what if it wasn't about them being good or bad? What if we let go of the judgments of our thoughts as a first step, and then eventually just let go of thinking altogether? And thinking becomes more of a spontaneous thing rather than a rumination. It becomes an in the moment, for the moment type of experience, where a thought is just an image in your mind, and we can release all negative images from our mind through the power of our choice and decision making capabilities and faculties. And as we let them go and release them, they're automatically replaced with higher visions, or we allow ourselves to replace the old images with new images by setting a goal or an intention in our mind. So one intention could be, I allow myself to have peaceful and loving thoughts at all times with ease. And you have that intention, and then when you have that intention, then you'll have a variety of experiences come up in your mind, a variety of thoughts or feelings about that. It could be positive, could be doubt, disbelief. It's not an affirmation, right? That's, I think, where affirmations sort of go wrong, or there's a lack of training around how to use them, perhaps. But to affirm something and then feel negativity about it, and then to continue to affirm it, that's kind of silly from my standpoint. And I've spent lots of time looking at that sort of thing, and it just hasn't really worked for me personally. But when I set an intention, as Lester has taught me through his work, and I set an intention like I choose to be loving and positive, I allow myself to be loving and positive at all times with ease, and then I might notice something. I might notice a sensation in my body. I might notice a thought of doubt. I might think that's complete nonsense. It's impossible. Then I have an opportunity to release that thought through the process of letting go of thinking about it, letting go of beating myself up for having that thought, letting go of any disapproval about that thought, and ultimately giving that thought love and approval. And then boiling it down to the categories of emotions that Lester kind of columnized for us, if that's a word. Put it in columns. Approval, wanting control, wanting safety and security, or wanting oneness is kind of how he boiled down all the various emotions into those 4 categories, just a way to kind of systematize it. And wanting equals lack. That was a wonderful thing that I learned from him and one of his top students, Larry Crane, is the idea of wanting, and we're talking about the feeling of wanting, because a word's just a word. A word can actually mean a lot of different things, but when we're talking about wanting, meaning not having, meaning there's a lack, there's a yearning for. And when we can let go of the lack of those ideas, wanting approval, wanting control, wanting to be safe, wanting oneness, wanting connectedness, then we can be free, right? Because we can let go of placing that on an external source, placing that we gather those things from something external in the world, and rather we can take all our joy from within, as Lester encourages us to do in his teachings. So the idea here of following your inner voice, and with this new Facebook setup, I can't actually see the title that I gave this, so I'm sure that's an error on... oh, here we go, following your inner voice. I found it. Thank you, Facebook. And what does that mean? Well, fundamentally, as A Course in Miracles puts it, we got to get out of our own way first. We got to release those blocks to the awareness of love's presence, to the awareness of our inner voice. That's the only way we can ever give a voice to Spirit, is if we get the blocks out of the way. And then when we get the blocks out of the way, then suddenly things are working better in our lives. Because we can hear, not just with our physical ears, but our inner ear, with our heart. Our mind becomes open-mindedness, rather than closed off, rather than judgmental, rather than sealed, rather than absolute in its thought process, thinking that things are set in stone and being inflexible. We reverse that. And now we can enter the love zone, or the love channel, as my uncle puts it. My uncle's a Qigong practitioner, and he talks about the love channel. So, great terminology for what we're doing here. And we might as well embrace this whole concept of love and approval and join the love virus and let it spread. If we're not growing, we're dying. Everyone's pretty well heard that phrase in their lifetime. And how true is it for you? If you're not loving and approving of the world, then what are you doing? Some people just say, well, I'm neutral. But is that really possible? Is it really possible to just be neutral all the time? Human nature is always based on perception, so neutrality isn't really possible. We can have the understanding that everything's neutral, and that it's here for us to use either positively or negatively, to view it either positively or negatively. We can have that understanding. But to say that we're just viewing things purely as neutral, normally when I hear people say, I have a neutral point of view on that, it's kind of said with a bit of an indignation or pride or something. So automatically it's not, right? Because pride is not a neutral thing, right? Pride comes before the fall, as the saying goes, but also comes before courage, right? So if we're willing to let go of our pride and enter courage and be courageous, entering the unknown, then we really drop the idea of being neutral, and we say, okay, I don't want to just be neutral here. I want to be loving and positive because it's just my choice, right? I can just choose at any given moment, despite circumstances, despite the emotions I'm feeling, despite any physical sensations I'm having. I can still choose to be loving and positive. And you know what? Virtually all the time when you make that choice, you're always going to notice that you feel a little lighter, a little happier, a little bit more free. So that's the key. That's the key, is just to allow yourself to feel a little lighter, a little happier, a little more free. I learned from a mentor of mine, Peter Ragnar, years ago. He said, by the inch, it's a cinch. By the yard, it's hard. And I love that. It's stuck with me for years. Because if we just give it a little bit of love and approval, and a little bit more and a little bit more, whatever the situation is, whoever the person is, ourselves, it becomes pretty easy to do that. I mean, anybody can give a little bit of love and approval, and then you can grow it. How about a little bit more love and approval? A little bit more love and approval. So life is good. Life is really wonderful. And if we view it any other way than that, then what's the point? What are we doing? Like, why not view life as the major leagues? Right? We're in the Olympics here, right? We've got all our training up until this point in time. Everything that we've amounted to is right here, right now. So we're never going to be better than we are right in this moment, so to speak, you could say. Of course, we're going to grow in the future and have greater awareness, but I mean, like, right now, this is the best version of us, right? Right? Any, ideas that I was better in the past, that's kind of a falsehood, because it's not true, right? Because all that exists is right now. So, of course, it's got to be the best moment, because it's the only moment, right? It's the only moment. So the less we place emphasis on the future, and the more we just embrace the here and now, and the more we really soak it in, the more we really enjoy it, the more we allow ourselves to enjoy it, the greater and greater we expand, and the more positive and loving we become. So following your inner voice isn't so much looking to hear and searching and even discovering, really. It can seem like a discovery. It can seem like an uncovery, right? We're uncovering, or a recovery. We're recovering what's truly our first nature of listening to that inner voice. But really, it's removing the blocks. It's releasing. It's getting out of our own way, so to speak, right? And what does that mean? It means we're putting the ego where it belongs. We're no longer putting the cart before the horse. Right? We're putting things in order. The ego serves a function, and we're putting it in its place, right? Because we're the boss. We're in charge. We're the commander-in-chief. Not the ego, not the mind. The mind is not the ruler. Despite us feeling like the mind rules, it doesn't. It doesn't. And I think you know what I mean. So anyway, it's always a blessing to share these lives, and it's my privilege to share my knowledge and my experience. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for commenting. Thank you for viewing, and much love. The Voice to Spirit group is growing. It's doing well. It's doing well. My goal is to have a very qualitative experience for everyone that comes in, and a very engaging experience for everyone. And I'm allowing it to grow to 100 members or more, and with ease. And it's going to be excellent as we grow as a community and help one another and gain greater insight into our lives, but beyond that, implement and live it, live the ideas, live at the higher frequencies, live with greater freedom and peace. And I now have my, I'm calling it 10 Steps to Freedom. And it's a case study program that I'm putting together. It's one-on-one work with me, 10 sessions, 10 hours to your total transformation and freedom. And of course, that's ultimately the choice you're going to make to be totally free. But provided in a one-on-one format, it becomes very straightforward. It becomes very natural. It becomes easy in some respects. I mean, you're still doing the work, but when you have someone to guide you, it's like having training wheels, right? It's easier to become unconsciously competent with releasing. It's easier to embed the neurology into your physiology. It's easier to make those transformations at a cellular level. So that's available. And in the group, there's some notice on that, as well as you can always reach out to me directly through a Facebook message. Either way, I love you all, and thank you for tuning in. Bye for now. And of course, you can check out the Voice to Spirit group. It'll be in the comments. We'll have a link. I'll have a link there, and you can join us. Bye for now.